Linda, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to show you guys my top 10 favorite palettes that are in my collection right now. I recently saw a video that Kelly Gooch did where she took all of her palettes, all 22 of them, and ranked them from her least favorite to her most favorite. And I did a poll on both my Twitter and my Instagram asking you guys whether you'd want to see all of my palettes and me rate all of them from like lowest to highest, or whether you just wanted top 10, and most of you wanted top 10, so that's what we're gonna do today. And yes, I did spend an extremely long time on my makeup today, so once that was finished, when it came to clothes, I was like, I'm wearing a hoodie. That's what's happening. But before we start, we must light the cat candle. I only light this cat candle while I'm filming, and there is a skeleton inside, and look, do you see his little face starting to appear? I'm so excited! I only light this when I'm filming so that we can all see the magic together. Okay, say it with me. The cat's on fire, we can officially start. What I did is I took all of my eyeshadow palettes out and I stacked them all up in front of me, and I saw that I have 29 eyeshadow palettes. Also, I have to say, I'm really good about purging my eyeshadow palettes. I give them away to friends, or I will like sell them on Poshmark if I've never used them, or things like that, or I sell them in Facebook groups. I'm really good about purging my eyeshadow palettes, and yet I still have 29. So if they've made it into my drawers, woo! If they are still in my collection, that means I at least like them. So the top 10, you know, are the top 10. And this was rough. There were definitely a few that I could not decide, and I put them in the drawer, and I feel bad. I actually apologized to my eyeshadow palettes, like Marie Kondo style, like thank them for their service and then put them away. They're inanimate objects. Okay, sitting at number 10 is the Dose of Colors and I Love Sarah E palette. This is a 6-pan palette that has two mattes, only two mattes, and then the rest are all shimmers, but they are so beautiful. Now, this palette does retail for 35 bucks, which is kind of high considering there's only 6 shadows, but I love this. I love the color story in this, and it just kind of speaks to me. I have to show you some swatches. So you can see the shimmers are just so rich and pigmented, and even that matte is just, oh, they're so beautiful. So yes, even though I shockingly don't wear bright blue that often, I mean, I love this palette. I think it's really beautiful and it's really compact. I loved this whole collection, so this sits at number 10. Okay, sitting at number 9, this one was a little difficult for me because it was between two palettes, but I had to choose this one. This is the Melt Cosmetics Vita palette. Melt Cosmetics came out with the Amor Eterno collection, and it had the Vita and the Muerte palette, but the Vita with its really bright colors with these oranges and this sparkly red and just that bright green, this really spoke to me. This is just so painfully beautiful to me. Obviously the packaging is stunning, and it was between this and the Muerte palette, and at the end of the day, this is the palette that I reach for more often. But what's kind of funny to me is, wait, I have to show you this. Once I picked the Vita palette and I knew that that was gonna be in my top 10 and Muerte wasn't, I felt bad for the Muerte palette, and I had to put that all over my eyes today. So, I mean, I'm wearing just kind of a bunch of these colors over here, and I still love this one, but looking at my top 10 favorites, it's gotta be Vita. At number 8, we have the ColourPop Yes Please palette, and it always interests me because I feel like so many beauty YouTubers have such varying opinions on this palette, but this has been a go-to for me. You can see, oh God, I've made a complete mess of it because I constantly reach back into this palette. The quality is so beautiful, and I love these warm sunset-y colors. This is, I mean, if you've watched my channel at all, you know, I would love to branch out and be like, oh, here's my favorite purple palette, and here's my favorite green palette, but at the end of the day, I love these warm sunset colors. They make my eyes really look blue, and just this one at $18 is a steal, and it's always on sale. So I love this. Again, I love the thin cardboard packaging. Just everything about this palette. I really feel like this is kind of a must-have if you like warm toned eyeshadows. So yes, this is my number 8 palette. Now for my number 7 palette, I hope I don't get too much crap for this, but just remember, these are my top 10 favorites right now. So even though I've only had this palette for a very short amount of time, it has snuck its way onto my top 10. So at number 7, we have the Melt Cosmetics Rust palette. This only just very recently came out, but these are all just, oh gosh, Even just opening it, it makes me so happy. You can see I've kind of already made a mess of this because I've been using this palette so much lately. It is so great for just neutral looks, but you can also do these smoky, sexy, grungy, dark looks. I just want to keep looking at it. Did I just dig my finger in again? I did. I'm a class act. But I just really feel there's so many different looks that can be made with this palette, and the color scheme is beautiful. The quality is top notch. The shimmers, there are no shimmers that Melt does like this. This is probably the best shimmer formula I've seen from them, and it replaces the Rust Stack. Thank goodness, because I have it still here from when I was filming. I hated this packaging. I talked about it. I hated the packaging in the Rust Stack. So when they came out with the palette, I was all about it. This is my new lover at number 7. At number 6, this is a palette I feel like I never see anyone talk about. This is the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. So again, I know that I'm a sucker for the warm colors, but the color scheme in this, again, we've got browns, but we also have got these kind of bright, warm oranges and these pinks and these bronze. I meant bronze. Basically just warm colors. It's got a beautiful warm color scheme and heat. Yes, heat, hot, fire. It is definitely that warm tone palette, and I love it. This is great for everyday looks for me. I don't use this as much as I used to, but still looking at the scheme makes my heart happy. One that I do want to look into though, people kept telling me about the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette, and whenever I've seen it, I'm like, oh, it's so many golds and browns and it looks so beautiful, but do I have dupes for that? Tell me, if you have that palette, tell me down below. Is it super unique, like a need, or is it just pretty? So yes, the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette sits at number 6. Coming in at number 5, I knew I wanted to pick one of my bright eyeshadow palettes, and it was really between two. One of them was the Colored Rain Vivid Pigments palette, which I really do like, but at the end of the day, it came back to my Sugar Pill Pro palette. So yes, this is the old packaging, and back in the day you couldn't choose your own color, so this is the color scheme it came with, but this is my dream color scheme. I love everything in here, and I have made so many cool looks with this palette. The pigmentation of Sugar Pill matte shadows is amazing. One swipe gets you opaque color no matter what color you're using, and for a color like yellow, that's really difficult. So Butter Cupcake is my favorite bright yellow of all time, Poison Plum is my favorite purple of all time, and Love Plus my favorite red of all time. These are amazing, amazing quality. If you like bright shadows and you don't have any Sugar Pill yet, you need to go there. So the Sugar Pill Pro palette sits at number 5, and yes, this is the old packaging, so I feel like I need to hide it. Ooh, that black swatch is still hanging on there from the Dose of Colors palette. For number 4, I wasn't sure if I should even put this one in there because I do have to admit that this palette has been discontinued, but I had to put it in here because this palette, I just feel like it changed the makeup game, and it changed my makeup game, and that's the original Urban Decay Naked palette. Yes, I know there's the Naked Reloaded, but this palette is what started it all. It started that kind of naked vibe, and it started just palettes that looked like this, where you could create a single look off these one palettes, and it was a big deal. As you can see, the color Naked, like to say I've hit pan is an understatement. I'm scraping the edges at this point. I've definitely hit pan on Half Baked over here, Virgin and Sin. I love this. I love this palette to this day. This is one of my all-time favorites, and yes, I know you can't get it anymore, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention this because of how often I still use it. I'm gonna be very sad when someday I do give this up. I know I probably should at this point, but I also will say that one thing I still despise about this palette is that it's covered in crushed velvet. And that is one of my materials that the second I touch it, like I'm doing right now, I'm trying not to move my hands too much because it makes me want to simultaneously scream and vomit everywhere. I hate crushed velvet. I'm gonna put this down very gently. It's a good thing the shadows are good inside, but yes, the original Urban Decay palette sits at number 4. We are in the top 3. Can you guess what they're gonna be? If you've watched my channel at all, you probably can guess at least 2 out of the 3. How well do you know Linda? Test your skills and knowledge down below. At number 3, we have the Melt Cosmetics Gemini palette. So I have to be very careful with this palette because a couple shades are falling out / have fallen out. As as a whole, this is my dream color scheme. It is grungy, it is dirty, it has those like kind of nasty olive greens that I love. It's got these kind of a mac and cheese color here, the warm browns. I love this color scheme more than any palette I've ever looked at. The reason that it is number 3 and not number 1 is because I don't wear this one every day, first of all, and second of all, this color, Gemini, completely fell out. There are crumbs left in there. This color, Goals, I've pressed back into the pan 3 times now and it's still about to fall out. This color, Leo, which is a matte, is about to fall out. So I don't feel like the quality of this one was as high as some of their newer palettes. It almost makes me want to repurchase this, hoping and praying that they changed the formula a little bit, but the color scheme overall still makes my heart sing. So the Gemini palette is number 3. At number 2, we have another affordable palette. This is the Nubian palette by Juvia's Place. This is one of the original ones. This is the palette that I find myself taking whenever I go on vacation and I want to pack light. I have been able to do so many beautiful looks with this, and the shimmers are so pigmented and so shimmery and metallic looking that you don't even need a base for any of them. Like, I have to show you this color right here. This gold is one of my favorite golds of all time. It's just, it's so wet looking. It's perfect. Oh, I love it. But this palette is so affordable too. I want to say that on sale at Ulta, it's usually only like $12, and the quality is like a high-end palette. Plus the packaging, again, very thin cardboard, but it's very sturdy. So I take this on all of my vacations. I adore this palette so much. I feel like this is a fantastic neutral palette for anybody. I think I've put this in 2 giveaways now because I want everyone to experience the glory that is this palette. So the Nubian by Juvia's Place sits at number 2. And for my current number 1 favorite eyeshadow palette, I would say of all time, but my current favorite, did you guess it? It's the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. This is a palette that I sat on buying for 5 years, I think it was. And when I finally bought it, I was not disappointed even a little bit. The color scheme, again, those warm sunsetty tones that are just, they make me so happy. But the quality is there are none like it. I know there are a lot of people that say like, oh, $129 for an eyeshadow palette, it's not worth that when you can get things that are the same quality. I have found so many eyeshadows that are fantastic quality, but I will say for me personally, there are no eyeshadows that have been as amazing quality as this palette. One touch into the pan and it's opaque. The colors blend beautifully together. There's no patchiness, there's no fallout. Everything about this is the eyeshadow palette of my dreams. Now, this palette is $129. So I am sorry that I did put that as the very top, but I hope that some of the other ones balanced it out. But I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you honestly that this is my favorite eyeshadow palette of all time. So what did you guys think? Is there anything that you thought would be on this list, but it wasn't? What is your favorite eyeshadow palette? Tell me down below. Maybe I need to purchase myself some new goodies because I'm, you know, in lockdown basically, and I just want to online shop so badly. That's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. You all can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Those are all GlitterFallout. I do put out new videos here on YouTube every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and become a part of the Rockstar fam. As always and forever, you all are super freaking rock stars. I love you with my whole heart, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.